Hi, I'm Maureen Taylor, and you are
Amy Johnson Crow.
Amy Jonathan Crow, and we are here for another installment of Heritage and History. This is the May 2018 edition. So we have a lot to talk about. We have in the news, in print, online, mobile tools, all our favorite things. And Amy, would you like to get started with your news?
Well, in the news, we have registration open for the Federation of Genealogical Societies conference coming up in August. It's August 22nd through 25th in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the conference is literally right across the street from the Allen County Public Library. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, I don't think.
I know. I
No,
know,
and
but
it's going to be a good conference.
that library, I love that library.
Yeah. So everybody should go and register. Go to fgs.org and you will see a link both to registration and a link to the program. I know, Maureen, you're on the program.
I am.
You
I
are.
am.
And so am I. So everybody should come out and see us.
Oh, we have somebody watching from the train on their way home from the Museum of American Revolution.
Oh,
Hello,
wow.
Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
Yeah, Valerie has been a Facebook friend for a very long time, and she went, I think, back to school for history and always dreamed of working in the history field and got a job working at the Museum of the American Revolution. And I got to meet her last year. So
Awesome.
shout out to you, Valerie. It was
Hey,
great to meet
Valerie.
you in person. My news is in about 3 weeks, I'm off to the Southern California Genealogical Society, Genealogical Jamboree in
Ooh,
Burbank, which is always a fantastic event, lots of energy. And I am giving 3 lectures there, two on planning out, writing your family history, and one, of course, on photographs. So if
nice.
you're going to be there, please ping me and tell me that I'll see you there. I do have a booth and I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been in my 6 years, I think. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And I just came back from the National Genealogical Society in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And from my perspective, it was, I didn't go last year to Raleigh, but this year's conference was amazing. The lecture rooms were not too far from the exhibit halls, so there was a lot of traffic back and forth. The rooms were a good size, so people didn't get shut out. Like I was hearing lots of complaints about a certain conference where they got shut out. Oh, look, this, we've got somebody watching us from, hey, Liv, from France.
Live from France.
But guess what? She's really from Norway, so she must be on vacation.
She's vacationing in France.
She's vacationing in France, where I don't know about you, but it would be a pretty good place to be.
Yeah.
Take me away.
Yeah, I could handle that.
Yeah, I could handle that. So in the news, lots of things happening. It is the busy conference season.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your book of the month, Amy?
My book of the month. I know that you've been calling the segment in print, but we are doing in Pixel because it's
Well,
on my
that works
Kindle.
too. That works too.
I am reading a book. It was actually published in 2010, but I just found out about it. It's called A Secret Gift, and it's by a man named Ted Gupp, Gup, A Secret Gift. The subtitle is How One Man's Kindness and a Trove of Letters Revealed the Hidden History of the Great Depression.
Ooh.
And it's all about the author discovered that his grandfather was a secret benefactor in Canton, Ohio, in at Christmas 1933. He put an anonymous ad in the Canton newspaper and encouraged people to write to him for a small Christmas gift. I think he offered $10 and ended up giving $5, but it went to twice as many people.
Oh.
So he gave like $5 a piece, I want to say, to like 100 people.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it really was a lot of money. And the author just found out about it like in 2008. And his grandfather kept the letters.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just how they wrote to him and what they were writing to him. It's a whole other look at the Great Depression, and also the author's journey then to discover more about this grandfather,
Wow.
because his grandfather was pretty secretive about his life before he got to Canton and married his grandmother and all of that. So I haven't got to the part yet where he figures out his grandfather's young adulthood, but we're
Oh,
getting there.
goodness.
But it's
We,
really good. Again, it's called A Secret Gift by Ted Gupp.
we have a few people. We have Deborah Stock as usual from England.
Hey, Deborah.
Donna Day is giving us a wave. And Susan Hayes is from Arizona.
Hey.
We've gone international with this one, Amy.
Yeah.
A little bit more international than usual. So, my imprint, I have two things to talk about. First off, I am proud as can be. I got to move the agenda from my screen. I am proud as can be to finally be finished with Research in Rhode Island, one of the NGS Research in the States guides. In 2000, I wrote an
Yay.
article for, as we call it, The Q, about research in Rhode Island. And this past, not even a year ago, Diane Beaumont of Rhode Island, who's a Rhode Island genealogist, and before I was the photo detective Rhode Island, I was all about Rhode Island. So she approached me and she said, "Would you like to update and revise what you did?" And I said yes. So we've been working on it for months, and we managed to get the coolest inside tours of some of these places. I would call climbing into the dome of the city hall, in where the archive duplicates are kept, as like someplace I had never been, and it was very cool. So it's a mansard roofed building, big tin, stuff, and we were up in there
Ooh.
climbing around. It was very cool. So that is now out. You can get it at NGS. I'll put this in where's the doesn't let me do that today. I can't put a message over here. Here it is. NGS genealogy.org. You can order it there. Really cool. And for actual books that I'm looking at, I'm revisiting one that I have in my library, but I was just working on a photograph of a man in a sort of ethnic cultural dress. And so I went back and looked at Augustus Sherman's Ellis Island portraits.
Ooh.
Because I love this book. So like 1 million people came through Ellis Island, and these are pictures of them. They were photographed by Augustus Sherman in what they arrived in.
Wow.
So it's a great guide to cultural dress, but it gets better than that, because a few years ago, you can actually just search this online under Augustus Sherman colorized. And so here's the black and white of this woman it's a Ruthenian woman from the Ellis Island Immigration Station in 1906. These are at the New York Public Library, but then you click over. So I'll give this link in the show notes for this episode. There are researchers who look at what are authentic original colors in these 20th century and 19th century photographs. And I've done a little bit of that myself, but these people push it to a whole nother level. And so they have colorized a lot of these portraits, and you can look at 30 of them in this Time magazine.
Wow.
Issue. And I'll definitely share that in the show notes.
Very cool.
It's very, very cool. They're very cool. Oh, let me get that one out of the screen without losing Amy. There you are.
I'm still here.
Good. It's good. So what else, Amy? What else do we have to talk about?
Well, what else do we have to talk about? I know we've talked about this before, but I need to give another shout out to the Digital Public Library of America, DP.LA.
I know, it's got the oddest address.
but it's so easy to remember.
It is.
But I want to give another shout out to DPLA because they now have more than 21 million digital objects, and those could be digitized photographs, digitized texts, videos, oral histories. Basically, if it could be digitized, they might have it, or I should say, DPLA might link to it, because DPLA, they don't have the images, but they point to the images. Kind of think of DPLA like a really big catalog. But
Well, it's a collaboration.
Yeah, it's a massive collaboration. And in fact, just a couple of months ago, they got what they call a service hub. Why they call it that, I don't know. But basically, the state of Ohio is now on DPLA. So I am very excited about that.
Well, they have online exhibits, primary source sets. So if you are homeschool teacher, or doing something else with students, and they give you all kinds of ideas on how you can use DPLA, education, research, lifelong learning. I mean, if you're awesome. Just looking for something to sort of poke around, they have 200 years on the Erie Canal. That's a fun one.
Yeah, and their online exhibits, they're those are well curated digital objects, whether it's broadsides or books or music or whatever, but it's curated around specific topics, and they are always adding to those. They had one a while back on the Great Flu Epidemic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
only two genealogists would say, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, 200 years on the, I know. 200 years on the Erie Canal. This is great. So they have these subheadings, why was it built in New York, plans and early concepts, building the canal, moving people and ideas. And then at the bottom of this little menu, you can click a button and it will cite this exhibition. It will give you the footnote you need.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, and if you've been to DPLA before and you haven't been there for a while, they did just redesign the website. It's still really easy to use. It's just a little bit fresher, a little bit cleaner to use now.
It was always easy to use.
Yeah, that part hasn't changed.
No, it's a great website. I use it often just to poke around and see what they have that's new, because they are adding new partners and new material all the time. All the time. It's sort of like Flickr for information.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Yeah, sort of like Flickr. John, I don't know if you know John Coletta.
Oh, yeah.
Those of you out there listening, but John Coletta is an amazing speaker, and he gave the keynote at NGS all about the Erie Canal. And he had a little, he's an interactive speaker. He had a hat like the canal guys used to wear, like a big broad brimmed canal boat hat, which was kind of cute.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it got tangled up in his microphone, but it was good. It was good while it lasted. He has a sense of humor, though. He does. Yeah. So that's your website, DPLA. I was poking around trying to find something, and in addition to like looking at these photographs of people in their ethnic costumes, because the ethnic costumes are very specific, sometimes to a particular town, the hat or some decoration. So it can be quite time consuming to find that. And one of the things then you have to do, if you have any sort of relatives in continental Europe, you really have to pay attention to the historical boundary changes.
Oh, yeah.
You have to look at historical atlases to see if, in this case, it was a person in costume from Bohemia, which actually in the census, they said they were from Austria, but the census enumerator had put Bohemia. But now that little section is part of Czechoslovakia.
Right.
After World War I. So you have to sort of consider all that history. And what you might not realize is that the U.S. state boundaries changed a lot. Oh, and that's something Diane and I, we knew about that. We're the littlest state. All right. We're proud, but we're small. And
You're a cute little state.
you're a cute little state, right? You can drive from one end to the other in under an hour. Oops, I'm going to disconnect this. Sorry. And there goes my printer. Or shut it all off. Don't bother me right now. So I found this website online, which is state boundaries and how they shifted. So you can do research in the state boundaries. So one of the things I was saying is that we were a small state, but the boundary of Rhode Island wiggled quite a bit. There are whole chunks of Rhode Island that ended up in Massachusetts. The western part of the state, little sliver, was in Connecticut, and then it went back, and then the Massachusetts piece came back, and then it went back. So there's a lot of wiggle room just in our little state, which makes it quite difficult sometimes to find people. But if you're wondering where your people are and you don't, they're on that border, you can look at this Atlas of Historical County Boundaries. And again, I'll put all of these things in the show notes below the video. You can click on anything like, I don't know, click on Georgia. And it gives you an interactive map, the index of counties and equivalents, the chronology, bibliography, historical commentary. It's got all kinds of things that you can use. So anyway, I thought that was a fun one to find.
Yeah, and that's a great site, not only for the state boundaries, but also seeing the creation of the counties.
Yes.
So as the counties are evolving and boundaries are changing and all of that site is indispensable.
Yes, exactly. I thought it would be a site that I would go back to again and again.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So we have some more people that have joined us. We have Elsie Johnson listening in from Virginia. Fawn Bowden having lunch with us. She's out in Iowa. Hope you're having something Fawn. Good.
Yeah, what are we having good for lunch today?
I know. We've got a wave from Catherine. Hi from Virginia. Somebody else just says hi. We have a lot of people with us today, Amy.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Yes, because we enjoy this.
We do.
So do you have our little agenda? We've talked about in the news, which are all the conferences.
Yep.
We've talked about in print, the Augustus Sherman and that wonderful book you found with the letters.
Yeah.
I went to a sale. It was in an old little branch bank building. And there was a shoebox full of World War II letters from a guy who had sent the letters to his parents in Rhode Island. And it was I had to step away. I'm like, I don't need those letters.
Yes, really, you do.
I don't need them. I have thousands of photographs and we're going to stay with those.
Well, you could have taken that box of letters and I would have gladly taken them off your hands.
You or Jennifer Hollick with her World War II Research Center.
Yeah.
That's true. But I had my sights on something else.
Okay.
All right. I bought most of an atlas.
You bought most of an atlas?
Yeah, first 10 pages are missing. But I know. No, I'm trying to find the first 10 pages. But it's on GenWeb.
So okay.
Look at it there. What about mobile tools? Do we have any mobile tools to focus on this month?
Mobile tools, I tell you, my mobile tool of choice lately has been my Weather Underground app, as crazy as the weather's been. Yeah, I mean, as silly as that sounds. Genealogy related, probably not unless you're, trying to plan a trip to a cemetery, but yeah, Weather Underground.
Weather Underground, yeah, a lot of that here too.
Yeah, that's my favorite weather app.
Did you have a tornado warning yesterday?
We did. Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago. We had an 80 and 4 days in a row, an 80-degree day, 2 inches of snow, a tornado warning, and 1.5 inches of snow.
Yeah. It's settled ridiculous. Down here for the most part. It's spring.
Yeah, I think we're in spring now, although it's starting to feel like summer. I'm very confused.
It's still spring. All the trees are in bloom. My entire street is filled with pink blossomed trees.
Ooh,
So it's very pretty. I
nice.
guess my mobile tool would be MemoryWeb, which is a photo organizer. They're coming out with a desktop version so that anyone who feels left out, because right now it's only for iDevices, you can use it online. And at NGS, somebody came up to my booth and said, I have this negative. How can I get it printed? So I used my phone and photographed the negative. And then guess what? With the MemoryWeb app, you can actually invert it and make it positive. You
Ooh,
can save the negative, but also make it a positive by inverting it and then using contrast controls.
right.
So, I mean, there's
Fun.
so much to love about that photo organizer that I just kept sending people over to them. They're like, Maureen, what are you doing? I'm like, there's so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, I need to play with that.
Oops. Family Tree Magazine, Deborah says, had an online article in the April recommending several apps. Haven't checked them out yet, but it might be worth looking at. Good idea, Deborah. I actually think I picked up the April. Is this April? No, this is May, June. This is what they had at the conference. So I'll have to, I'm not, even though I write for Family Tree Magazine, for some reason, I'm no longer getting the magazine. So they're looking into that. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've just been heads down working on new blog posts, some new themes for my blog. One called Outside the Frame, which is, you get this far with all the clues in the picture, but then what do you do? Sort of like your new course, right? Can I say what it is?
Sure.
Beyond the Hints.
Beyond the Hints.
Beyond the Hints, which will be out soon.
It will be very, very soon.
Very soon. And I started another theme for the blog called Finding a Home For. And I have thousands of photographs, and a good number of them have names on the back. And I always say, oh, I'm going to get around to it. So
you're getting around to it.
And I'm writing these blog posts about it. This is the one for next month. I bought this in Illinois, and it's called Finding a Home for the Hollenbergs.
What are they standing in front of?
A barn with 1916 on it.
Oh, that's an interesting barn.
It's a very interesting barn. I know where it was taken. The antique shop told me where it was. Has names on the back, on the bottom, and I've got them all linked in together, which is cool. And reached out to somebody on Ancestry.com from whom I have not heard a whit.
And maybe they're on vacation.
Finding a home for the Hollenbergs may be difficult. Oops, somebody wants to say, what about the memory app? MemoryWeb. Here, I'll put it right here.
Yeah, MemoryWeb.
I love MemoryWeb. I am not one of their affiliates, but if you go to them and say, I think they actually have me, and one of their, like, how did you hear about us? Say, Maureen and Amy. They're always happy to know where you come from.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good about it.
Yeah, they have all these new things they're rolling out that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I need to play with that.
So, Amy.
Yes, Maureen.
I won't see you until, obviously we'll do one of these next month.
Yes, we will.
But I will be at, unless we do it the second week, I'll see you at FGS.
Yes. Yeah. FGS in Fort Wayne, August 22nd to 25th. Go register now at fgs.org.
You know what I really love about the Fort Wayne Allen County Public Library is that it is a public library, but they have this enormous genealogy department. So when I was there a couple of years ago doing an all-day thing, I found some time and I went over to the library. And because a lot of what I do is genealogy, but it's beyond genealogy. They had the books I needed.
Yeah.
That a public library would have. And it
Yeah,
made me wish I lived around the corner.
yeah, I mean, I'm 3 hours away. Pretty lucky.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, seriously, their genealogy department, see if I get this right. They are the largest genealogy department in a public library in the United States.
Right. And it's books, like
It's books
print
and it's
books.
microfilm and
Yes.
it's digital and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
The other sort of thing that they don't, that most genealogists probably don't know, is that they have a huge Lincoln collection.
Yes. Yeah, that's a whole separate. They got that a few years ago. The Lincoln Financial Collection. You've probably
Mm,
seen the ads for like Lincoln Life and all of that.
right.
Well, the company actually, when they started, I believe that they had approached, I think it was still Robert Lincoln, and asked for permission to use the likeness of Abraham Lincoln. And then they started collecting all of this Lincoln stuff.
Yeah. I mean, amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
it's absolutely incredible. And they used to have a museum and archive in Fort Wayne where the Lincoln Financial Company is headquartered. That's how it got to be there. Okay.
Mhm.
So they decided that they're going to close down this library and museum, and they were originally going to like sell it all off. And people who were Lincoln scholars got wind of this. Is like, no, 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 you can't do that. You can't do that. So what happened was the Allen County Public Library and the Indiana State Museum put together this bid to take care of the collection. So all of the three-dimensional objects like the plates and the cutlery and the
Right.
furniture and all of that went to Indianapolis to the Indiana State Museum, but all of the paper and the photographs are in the Lincoln collection at the Allen County Public Library.
It's an amazing collection.
It really
They gave
is.
me a tour of it when I was there, and I was just dying to just, you know, sit there.
Yeah, you just wanted to be locked in.
I did. I did really want to be locked in. I did. I really did.
Yeah.
So that just about brings us to the end of Heritage and History for May. Now, does anyone have any questions for us? We still got a lot of people watching. We're, as with Be Live, as you saw. We can share your comments and suggestions. And if you have anything you'd like to add, now's the time before we sign off till June.
Well, if I can put in a little call to action here.
Sure.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but want to put in a little plug for the people who came in later, and that is I am going to be releasing my course called Beyond the Hints. It's a self-paced course designed to help you make more discoveries with less frustration. So you can learn how to identify the gaps in your research and then how to fill them and fill them correctly. Without all the frustration. So you can go to my website. You can go to amyjohnsonCrow.com/course, and you can sign up for the wait list, and you'll be in the first group to be notified when the course goes live. And there might just be a little discount for people who are on the wait list.
This should say amyjohnsonCrow.com
.com
/
course. Yeah,
there is
they
no
figured
way
that
for
out.
me to just add that in. I have to write it all over again. There's the correct one.
There it is.
And my course on identifying and dating family photographs, if you, it's still up on the website for another couple of weeks. I'll leave it up there until after Jamboree, and then the guided course will go away for a little while, so that I can catch up with everyone that's already bought it. And because it's interactive, you take the lesson and you upload a photo and tell me what you've done with it, and then I give you feedback on that and suggestions. So it's been really, really fun. But obviously I want to give everybody a good amount of attention. So it'll go away for a little while. So you've got another week or so, and then that part of it will go away. So if you're interested in that, go to maureentaylor.com. It's right there on the homepage. You can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
All right. Join us next month for another installment of Heritage and History with Amy and Maureen. Oops, wait a minute. One last question. Does Fort Wayne have archives of family papers as well?
Some. I think what I would do would be to go to genealogycenter.info. See, let me make sure that that's the right website.
Just go to Genealogy Center and it'll be there, right? You can look it up. We'll put the link in the notes.
I'm sorry, genealogycenter.info has the databases. If you go to genealogycenter.org, they have a link to the catalog. Right. And that would probably be the best thing to do.
All right, we'll put these links in the notes underneath. And we'll see you next month. Thank you all for joining us from all over the world. Send us your suggestions. We'd love to listen to them. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.